Okay, here's a quick introduction to App Inventor, and we're going to build our first app called HelloPurr. So located on our website, here is the tutorial for HelloPurr. If we open this up, it looks like this, and it has very good instructions, and I would suggest that you do read through these. I know that it's sometimes easier to save time and not, but in the long run, this information is valuable, so I would suggest that as we go through the video, if you are noting that you probably should pause the video at periods and read through the text, because I might go through it a little bit quicker. So let's just do a quick overview of the project, and then let's code it up in App Inventor and see what it looks like. So building your first app, HelloPurr. It's going to have the objectives of tap the kitty and hear the kitty meow. So we're going to build a simple app, use a button that has a picture of a cat on it, and then program the button so that when the button is clicked, a meow sounds. So we need to have a picture of a cat and an audio file with the meow sound on those, and those are provided right here for us. So we do need to save these, so right click. I think I'm doing more of a download on mine, so I'm going to open that up. That's an image. I'm going to save image as. I probably need to create a folder in my App Inventor for pictures maybe. So I'm going to do, and inside pictures, I'm going to save this kitty PNG file. Okay, so now then let's go back and let's gather the next one. Here is your meow MP3. Right click. I'm going to as well do the same thing here with a download. And that will be, it'll be in my downloads. So it's available to access in my downloads at that point in time. I could also move that over to a file if you'd like to use it that way as well. So a couple of choices that you can do there. Oops, sorry. All right, so we now have their two files downloaded. We have a picture, a kitty PNG, and a meow MP3. So continuing along with the specifications for this application. So it says next is you need to go into your palette, select components to design your app. I would read through this. I've done this a couple times, so we have lots of different user interfaces available, and we will be using most of these throughout this course. So I'm going to slip over to my App Inventor and create a button here that's going to be useful for our project. So going over into our App Inventor, it'd be nice here to go projects, start a new project, and on this it would be a good idea to put your name on this. So I'm going to put Williamson, and this is HelloPurr. So start up with a blank project here. Like I said, you have your palette on the left-hand side that has a bunch of different user interfaces available. So we have all of these. These are drawers that we'll be looking into. So in a layout drawer, you have horizontal arrangements, table arrangements, vertical arrangements. Underneath your media tab, we have these different features that are available. You have a sound, so we can put that in there. I'm pretty sure we're going to need that here in a minute. And we have drawing and animations where we can create canvases. We can have animation. We're going to have maps and sensors that we're going to be able to use for this particular project. So App Inventor has a lot going on, and if you want to dig through that, it's a good program. So the first thing it says here that we need to be doing is adding in a button, and that's going to be located under your user interface. So underneath user interface, we're going to grab a button. We're going to just drag it right onto our screen here. It says text for button 1 here. And you'll start to see, so this is the viewer. We have a few different areas on this. We have a viewer, we have a component section, we have properties for those components. You can see right now I am on button 1, so these are the component properties for button 1. If I were to screen 1, they change a little bit. So we are working on button 1 right now, and we want to put a picture in there. It says of the kitty. So we need to go down to image, and it says none right now. So what we need to do is we need to upload that kitty file that we just downloaded earlier. I put mine in pictures, I believe. APCS. App Inventor Pictures Kitty. And that's the one I want. I'm going to hit OK. So, uploading that file, none. There it is. Okay. So now we have ourselves that button is still there. And you can see it says text for button 1. We may want to take that out as the instructions will read to us. In fact, that's the next thing. We just want to make that blank. So instead of having it kind of hover there, text for button 1, down here on the far right, text for button 1, we can just remove that all together. And when you click outside of that area of the properties, you can see that that button no longer has any text features on that. We do want to see that the kitty's picture is going to fill up the area, and we don't have this white space here on the right. So what we want to do is we want to go into your height and width settings, and we want to put those to fill parent on both the height and the width. So there you go. That button there is a big picture of a kitty we have there. If you don't like it that large, you can fiddle with this. The great thing with App Inventor is that you have lots of different abilities to be creative. So maybe I don't like it that being that high. I can change my height to a matter of either pixels or percentages. So maybe I want it to be only 50% of the screen size. I can select that and it squishes it up to half of the user interface. Just going to follow along with the instructions. It does say fill parent, so we're going to go as such. All right, so next is that we're going to step 3. As I'm going through this, I will look right here. So we have our button is now in our user interface. We've changed the text for the button to nothing being there. We now have a big picture of a kitty in our user interface, and now we need to put in a label telling the user a little bit about what you want to do. So we're going to put a label down there that says pet the kitty. I am seeing that this user interface doesn't take up as much of the front as we have in ours, so I believe I need to make that adjustment here on its height. Let's go to automatic and make it like that. That's pretty good there. So I'm going to go over here into my palette under my user interface drawer, and I'm going to grab a label. I'm going to drag it underneath my image of the kitty, and in the label we're going to change you can change its font size. You can make it larger or smaller. I would think that maybe 14 is not going to be large enough, so I'm going to put 28. I'm going to double it. There is the size of that. I'm going to put in the title or the text for that label to read Pet the Kitty. So now then when I hit enter, it changes that. I might even want to mess around a little bit. Maybe my text alignment, I want it to be centered. So it puts it, well, if this text box was with fill parent, then I could center it like that. Center, so you can see center, left, etc. So you have the ability to be creative and design this a little bit. Maybe I don't want to have the background color on that text box be white. Maybe I want it to be black, but then I need to make sure that my text color is not black on black. Let's put that maybe yellow, make it pop out there. It says pet the kitty. Okay, so next thing is that we have to make sure that we drag in a sound feature. That's going to be located under media. So if we scroll down to media here, we're going to see what looks like a little speaker. You're going to grab this. This is going to be as you see here down here, a non-visible component. So your sound pops up down at the bottom here. It's not visible, but it does have some features that we can work with. So right over here, your source that we should have an MP3 or maybe it's an MP4. It's just a sound file. So we need to go and find that. So we need to choose that file. I believe that I kept that in my downloads. So in my downloads, right here, I should see a meow MP3 file. I'm going to use that file. I'm going to hit OK. So now then we have the source for our sound is a meow. And I'm okay with that. Sounds good. Now we need to go into the other side this is the designer. This is going to be your front end. Now your back end is where we do our coding. So that's over here in your blocks editor. When we click that, we have a nice blank area to work because we haven't done any coding yet to this application. It has a nice button, but it doesn't have anything going on. So we have two features here that we need to link together. We have a button that needs to be linked to a sound. Right now they are not linked together, and we need to do that. So in our blocks editor, it does say here for our button 1 right here, I just tap that. Here are the different methods that are available on a button, and we have a bunch of different things that are going to be available to do. But right now, I think that the one we're looking at is just when button 1 is clicked. I'm going to drag that into the middle there. So from there, we're going to, these are event handlers. So when this event happens, do something. So when the user clicks the button, that's the event. How is our program going to handle that event? And so what we want to do is have it play that sound right here. So this is our sound file here that we just uploaded earlier of the meow. So when the user clicks the button 1, we want our sound 1 to play. So that should help us out getting those linked together. And you can even rename these in the designer if you would like. Maybe your sound you want. So actually this is pretty good, but right now I need to test it out. So I'm going to get my emulator running, and this because it's just easier for me to show you with that. So for my emulator, the first thing I need to do is to get to my desktop, and I have this AI starter here. I'm going to click this open. That's the first thing that needs to be done when you're running an emulator, and it opens up a starter that looks just like this. And when we're finished, we need to hit Control-C to quit. But we'll leave this open for now, and we're good to go. So let's go into our App Inventor program, and I'm going to connect. Now, I would highly suggest that you do not use the emulator. It is cumbersome, it is slow, and it's just not nearly the experience that you can get using an Android-based device. What I would suggest is that you use, every once in a while you need to reset your connection, just make sure that everything's good, and then you will have on the same Wi-Fi, you need to make sure that your device, your Android device, and your computer, laptop are on the same Wi-Fi so they can talk to each other. But this is, highly suggest I would use your AI companion to link to this. Then you just use a QR code scanner to scan in this, and you will see popping up on your phone I'm sorry, you'll need to go into the Play Store on your phone and download the App Inventor companion. And then that would be the program you will use on your phone. Then it will just ask you to scan in on that particular application. Will ask you to scan in, and I would just go from your AI companion and scan this in. But since we're not going to do that, I'm going to hook up my emulator right now. So I'm going to use my emulator, and this takes a minute or two, so I'm going to pause the video, and I will get back to you when that emulator is up and running. Okay, so my emulator is up and running. It just looks kind of like the face of an older cell phone, and we're going to be able to use this to test our applications. So right here, we know that that's a button with a cat on it. It should make a mouse sound, a cat sound, and it does. When I click that button, it does meow. So that is, let's take a look at our specs real quick to make sure that we have that. We've got the text box. We've changed it around a little bit. We've done our sound files. We've made it play. Doing good, doing good. And looks like you have built your first app. Now, what I would like for you to do now is to build a variation on that app. It told part of our assignment here is this HelloPurr's variations. So let's look at how we're going to do that as well. Save HelloPurr project as Hello Ninja. Disable or remove the Pet the Kitty button. Find your accelerometer sensor in the sensor drawer. Add to the app. Set the kitty to meow when the accelerometer sensor detects shaking. Check the action on the accelerometer to see how the action is when it's detecting shaking. Test it, and then walk around it and increase your sensitivity as well. So let's just look for that accelerometer real quick, and that might give you a little bit of an idea of, I believe it's under sensors. So as I go down to sensors, now your accelerometer, it is a non-visible component. I would drag that in there. You will find it down next to your sound, and you can adjust its its sensitivity over here. In the blocks editor, you can see that now we have the availability of this accelerometer sensor there, and here is your shaking feature. Okay, so then this is not an assignment that we will be recording in the gradebook, but however, that is going to be valuable for your overall development, and that takes care of your HelloPurr and started onto your HelloPurr variations. Thank you.